Hi, I'm Chris. I work here at Evo, and today I'm going to show you how to try on snowboard boots. Okay, so the first thing we need is a pair of skier snowboard socks. Not your cotton everyday sock, not your athletic sock, not your big burly old school wool sock. Although wool is okay, we need a wool or a synthetic blend skier snowboard specific sock. So once you have those, we're ready to go. So, we need to make sure that if we're wearing pants, that they're rolled up all the way. We don't want any pants inside the boots. And then when you're putting your sock on, make sure that you pull that up all the way as well. We don't want any wrinkling or bunching or anything like that inside of our boot. Nice and smooth and comfortable. Okay, so there are a few different kinds of lacing systems with boots. One of them being traditional laces. Probably have a pretty good idea of how those work. We've got our BOA system. And we've got a quick pull system, which may be zonal as well as the BOA. Okay, so now we're ready to try on our boot. First thing we want to do is unlace the boot completely. Your boot may have various lacing systems on it, but the number one important thing is to make sure it's wide open and ready to get your foot in there. Make sure you pay attention and reach all the way down into the boot and get all of the laces loosened up. Otherwise you might not be able to get your foot in. Pull the tongues out, make sure it's wide open, and once you've got it open, make sure you check for any paper or anything inside of the boot. From there, probably a good idea to stand up. You want to pull both tongues up and out, slide your foot down into the boot. You're probably going to feel the front of the boot at first. It's going to be pretty tight, that's okay. But then we want to make sure that we kick our heel down, getting that settled into the heel pocket. Once you've done that, it's time to lace the inside. Make sure that you've got the tongue securely against the shin, everything comfortably snug as you lace up. Now we don't want to over tighten the boot, but it is important to get it nice and snug. Once we've got that done, we can start doing the outer lacing system. Now in a normal lace-up boot, it's up to you how tight you want the bottom, and that's one of the beauties of laces, is that you can kind of custom fit your boot to the way you want it in terms of how tight and where. Once you've got the boot laced up, it's time to stand up and flex into the front of it. At this point, the boot should still be feeling a little tight, but you should have some relief for the front of your toes. Okay, so with a BOA boot, the first thing you want to do when releasing it is to pull the dial out. Once you do that, you will disengage the system and be able to pull everything apart. In some cases you may have an internal BOA, which we have here, in which case you would also want to release that to make sure that you can get into the boot. Once everything is disengaged, same as before, pull the tongue up, let your foot slide in. Make sure the tongue is secure on the inside. In this case, we want to make sure that we do our internal lacing system first. So to engage the BOA, push the dial back in and start to turn it. And get that as tight as you want without going too tight. Once that's good, then the same thing on the inside, or the outside. And with the BOA boot, I'd say on the outside, once you start to get it tight, it's a good time to stand up and start flexing that boot a little bit. Alright, so one of our other basic lacing systems is a quick pull system. In this boot, for instance, we've got 2 zones that control the lacing and tightening of the boot. To get this one out, we want to make sure that these are pulled all the way forward. Pull this tab to loosen, pull that tongue all the way out, and then make sure our inner lacing system is all the way loosened as well. Once everything's pulled apart, drop for that paper. Pull up on the tongues, slide the foot in, that heel settled. Make sure the inner tongue is settled all the way, and then we want to make sure we pull on our inner lacing system and get that nice and snug. In this boot, once we've got all that, start with the top zone and pulling up, and as we pull through here, these little teeth catch the cord and make sure that it doesn't loosen. So I would get that nice and snug, stand up, flex the boot a little bit, and then maybe start to tighten the lower zone a little bit. Once we've got that where we want it, get those laces out of the way, put the other boot on and spend a couple minutes in it. Okay, so now that we're in our boots, we've got both of them on, we've got them securely fastened. We need to kind of pay attention to how they fit our feet. We should be walking around in them a little bit, flexing them, maybe standing out like we're riding a snowboard, getting into it, feeling it. We want to make sure that our toes at this point are touching the front. They shouldn't be jammed or curling, but you should be able to feel the front. That's a good thing, believe it or not. In any boot, if you try to lift the heel, you're going to. Other than that, it should feel like a glove. And remember that this boot is as small as it's ever going to be. It's going to pack out, in most cases, probably about a half size. And otherwise, it should just feel pretty comfortable. If you're feeling like the boot is sloppy, then I recommend retying it a little tighter. A lot of times you just don't have it tight enough. And if you still feel the same way, then perhaps you got the wrong size or it's just not a good boot for you. Okay, so remember that while this is our recommended fit guide for you, personal preference will always be the #1 thing. These are your boots, they should be comfortable, and whatever makes you happy is going to keep you on the slopes the longest. Other than that, I'd say thanks for shopping at Ebo. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call or hop on our website. We'd be happy to help, and have a blast this season.